Here's a guy in 1973, had $100,000. He invested 50% stock, 50% bonds, and for the next 22 years, he averaged 10.1% per year. Hey, can we agree on one thing? If you could invest your money for the next 22 years and somebody give you 10.1% a year for the next, you take it right now? And his $100,000 grew to be worth $846,000. And it doesn't matter if we ran the numbers backwards from 1995 to 1973, because he still averaged how much? 10.1%. He still wound up with a boatload of money. So that's how we think the world works. However, that's not how it worked for the next guy. See, the next guy also had $100,000 in 1973. He also invested 50% stock, 50% bonds. He also averaged 10.1% a year for the next 22 years. But this guy retired in 1973, and he needed income. And so he took out 5% per year. Now, let me ask you a question. How much did he average per year? 10.1. How much is he going to take out? 5. He's okay, right? He's fine? No, he's dead broke. See the green line up there? Now, somebody here has to explain to me, how can you average 10.1% a year for 22 years, take out 5% a year, and go broke? And the answer is, because average returns don't matter what you retire. Once you retire, there's only one thing that matters, and that's the order of those returns. Does anybody remember what happened to the stock market in 1973, 74, 75? The market went down, down, down. Here's the deal. If you retire and you have your money in a diversified portfolio, and the first 3 years of your retirement the market goes down, 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 there isn't much else I can do for you. You're either going to have to take out less, put in more, or you will run out of money. Let me show it to you in a different way. And again, I think this will go against everything you've always been taught. You know how I know? Because it goes against everything I was always taught. I was always taught the older you are, the more conservative you should invest. That's what I was taught. That's not what this shows. This shows that if you lose money early in retirement, the red line, it will devastate your retirement. Losses later in life, the blue line, will have much less of an impact on your retirement. So if you had to say to me, Tom, when is the most critical time to invest in a portfolio? When is the riskiest time for an investor? I'm going to tell you it's right there. It's the last 5 or 6 years that you're working and the first 5 or 6 years of retirement. See, if you want to make sure you don't mess up your retirement, you don't want to mess up in that box right there. The last 5 or 6 years working, the first 5 or 6 years of retirement, that's the most critical time that we need to be there for our clients to make sure they don't lose money. The other thing, inflation over time can devastate purchasing power. This shows $1,000 of purchasing power at 4% inflation. It'll cut it by more than 50% in 20 years, by more than 2/3 in 30 years. And I know you say, Tom, there's no inflation out there. And right now there's not. Right now the worry is deflation. There's no velocity of money. But here's the problem. These governments around the world have been printing money. What happens when you print money? It causes inflation. Once there gets to be some money velocity back, we would not just see inflation. We could see some rampant inflation. So short-term threat is deflation. Long-term threat is inflation. You need to plan for that.